She is outrageous. She's also a tireless and controversial self-promoter. She is, of course, Madonna. When MTV banned her new video, its success was assured. And as NBC's chief financial correspondent Mike Jensen reports tonight, she is doing very well. Thank you.
Waiting for you to justify my love.
Madonna is the nation's most highly paid female performer, $39 million so far this year. And this is the video that will make her even richer. Justify My Love, banned by MTV as too sexually controversial. It's being sold in video stores as a single. That's a first. What makes Madonna sell is a combination of sex and power, the flaunting of authority and convention, pushing the limits. Kids love it. In polls, teenagers have voted Madonna America's most admired woman. A lot of adults disagree.
I don't think she's an appropriate role model for teenagers.
But no one disputes that Madonna has marketed herself very shrewdly.
Whose side are you on?
Side I'm always on. Mine.
She has her own companies called Boy Toy Incorporated, Siren Films, and Slutco. Critics say her success does not come from pure talent.
She doesn't have a great voice. She's not the greatest songwriter. She's not James Brown when it comes to dancing. But when she sings, when she dances, you see a self that's always changing.
Madonna changes images the way Detroit retools cars. She's gone from the street-smart teeny bopper to the old-fashioned feminine girl to the robo-vamp to the soft porn seductress. Several of her acting attempts have been bombs.
I know what it is to be bad. I've been bad.
Still, critics love her rock shows and videos. With her ability to generate controversy and publicity, Madonna is a growth industry.
I'm a workaholic. I mean, I love to work, but it's the one thing I have to know.
And the profits keep rolling in. Mike Jensen, NBC News, New York.
Truth or Dare, Blonde Ambition and Sex. The book, that is. When Time and Again continues with young female fans who wanted to be like Madonna, or at least look like her. Those fans studied her every move. Who would have thought that years later, a very different crowd would be studying Madonna?
In the halls of higher learning at the University of Amsterdam, students pack this lecture hall to study the classics. But in this case, it's more like the greatest hits, because these scholars are all cramming in Madonna 101.
Material Girl, we have a kind of direct relation with Madonna.
The course is the brainchild of two young professors who decided it was okay to take a serious look at what many academics see as the frivolous life of a pop star.
She changes her image, she changes her voice, she changes her musical style, everything, and that's very typical of Madonna.
The idea seems to be something like this.
As teacher Mark Vandenberg's charts show, it may not be highbrow, but it sure is popular.
My suspicion is that there are also lots of people who secretly did like Madonna's music and now see this as a sign that it's now okay to say that Madonna's music is not that trivial as has always been assumed.
So in this country of quaint canals, where the old ways of traveling by bicycle are often preferred to the automobile, and where a centuries-old windmill still stands next to field after field of brilliantly colored spring flowers, the Dutch are by no means living in the past. The young people who filled this course to overflowing want it to be known that pop culture and Madonna are just as important as history.
Finally, she's recognized as something more than a blonde vamp who's just singing and who's just doing stupid things at the stage, you know?
She's there in a lot of people's lives, and I think we should check why. How is it possible that she has such a huge influence?
For these students, majoring in Madonna is quite different from studying the classics. After all, in this case, the subject matter is still very much alive. So the course has to be ready to change, every time Madonna does. So once a week, somewhere in between political science and economics, the music drowns out the drone of academia.
I think she has enough talent and potential to be here in the next 20 years, or, you know, maybe going to little politics or something. You never know.
Whoever said roll over Beethoven might have been right after all. For today, Kevin Tibbles, NBC News, Amsterdam.
Welcome back to Time and Again as we pay a visit to Madonna over the years by way of the NBC News archives. Pop stars get plenty of media attention. There are loads of magazines, TV shows, and cable channels devoted to the entertainment industry. But throughout her career, Madonna has made an art of getting attention, of staying in the spotlight, manipulating her image, and doling out controversy for mass consumption.
Whatever you think of her looks, voice, her behavior, Madonna has made herself into a pop icon of her time, mostly by pushing the limits, which seems to be the whole point of her latest film, Truth or Dare. Or did she exceed the limits this time? NBC's George Lewis tonight.
The camera follows her everywhere, on stage and off, during her Blonde Ambition World Tour.
I know that I'm not the best singer, and I know I'm not the best dancer, but I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in pushing people's buttons.
And so, the movie is heavy on shock value.
You're beautiful and you're a
They say that you can't do the scene tonight, otherwise you'll be arrested.
So what's considered
When you stick your hand in your
26-year-old Alex Kashishian directed Truth or Dare.
There's a message behind the button pushing. She's trying to basically tell people to get over their prejudice and become more accepting of other people.
But some critics call the movie trash. The Today Show's Gene Shalit.
Deep down, beneath her leaping and her caterwauling and her topless exhibitionism, Madonna appears to be a hollow, forlorn individual.
I'm making this movie because I'm not afraid of the truth. I know people say all kinds of things about me, but they really have no idea all the that really goes on in my life.
But how real is real life when the camera is running all the time? How much of this is truth and how much of it is performance? Her former boyfriend, Warren Beatty, calls the constant filming insane.
You want to talk at all off camera? You have nothing. She doesn't want to live off camera. Much less talk.
In the 1990s, marketing is the art form of the era, and she's the best at it of any of the performers that are around today.
She's everything that I think people feel inside but are too afraid to say.
She has become a role model for a lot of young women who admire her sassy independence. And the question of whether Madonna's talent extends much beyond her gift for self-promotion simply does not matter to her fans. George Lewis, NBC News, Hollywood.
That was 1991. The following year, Madonna upped the ante in the celebrity sweepstakes, releasing not just a new album, but a book filled with erotic pictures of Madonna. It had the desired effect. It got attention.
One of the wildest parties to hit New York in a while wrapped just a few hours ago. The guest of honor was Madonna, who's plugging her new album and her new book called Sex. And our entertainment reporter, Jill Rappaport, has the story.
Madonna Mania hit Manhattan last night, and her fans had no trouble expressing themselves.
What do you think about this Madonna book? Huh? I don't have to think. That's the best thing about me. I don't have to think.
This was the coming out party, not only celebrating her much-hyped, much-revealing sex book hitting the stores October 21st, but also the release of her new erotica video and album.
Think that someone can go too far expressing themselves? There's a lot more things in this world to worry about than, you know, whether Madonna's going too far or not. I mean, I think it's wonderful. She pushes the boundaries. She always crosses the line. Then the line gets farther. She crosses it again. What do you think? You think she's gone too far this time?
I don't think it's possible for her to go too far.
understand you're in the book, right?
Yeah, you've seen it.
So, did you bear all, Naomi?
You'll see if you buy it.
This book is creating an awful lot of controversy.
Thank goodness there's controversy.
Now, 800 of Madonna's closest friends were invited to this event, which inside is being called a voyeuristic delight. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, no cameras were allowed inside. However, knowing Madonna, we probably couldn't show you any of it on TV. Anyway.
There's a lot of scantily clad people in leather with various sexual objects doing obscene things to each other.
You never cease to amaze us. What's next in the shock department?
More genius.
If you publish naked pictures of yourself, you might expect someone to ask you, what would your parents think? That's what NBC's Bryant Gumbel asked Madonna in 1993.
What did Dad think of Sex?
Of the book?
Yeah.
He hasn't seen it.
He has to have heard about it.
Of course he's heard about it, but it's not the kind of book my father would read. You know? It's not a book for everybody.
Do you think he'd like the book if he saw it?
I don't think he would understand it, no. In order to like or dislike something, I believe you truly have to understand something. I'll come to you when you say.
We'll have more of Brian's interview with Madonna on her fame, her family, and her future when Time and Again continues.
In all the years I've been doing this,
yes,
I have had the pleasure of doing a zillion and one different people from all walks of life. My friends who know me have never asked to come on to any other interview. And yet for this one, doctors, lawyers, designers, friends, family, everybody wanted to come along. What is it about you people find so fascinating?
I don't know. I think you should ask them.
They just wanted to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Does that happen all the time?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people who don't want to meet me. I don't know.
Doesn't strike you as bizarre or unusual?
Well, I'm a celebrity, and I think a lot of people want to meet celebrities. Isn't that how it works?
I guess so, part of the time. I also heard that you recently went home for the holidays, first time in a long time. How was it?
Well, first time in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I'd sleep on the floor in a sleeping bag.
You didn't sleep on the floor in a sleeping bag.
Okay, I didn't sleep on the floor. I had to sleep on the floor in an air mattress, okay? That's just as bad.
Serious?
Yeah.
Is it hard when the whole family gets together? And, I mean, everybody in the family is family except for...
Well, you know, when I go home, I don't get any sort of special treatment. And in a way, it's a relief.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, did they still, just as they ever did, push you, hit you, yell at you, fight with you, scream at you, argue?
Nobody pushes me around anymore.
Why am I not surprised?
I think my brothers know better. I mean, my older brothers used to torture me, but I think all older brothers do that.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Are you still Daddy's little girl? If you ever were?
Ooh, what does that mean? Daddy's little girl.
Daddies have a tendency to dote on their daughters, to always see their daughters in the purest of terms, to always think the absolute best of them, to think they can do no wrong.
Well, I think that's true to a certain extent. I have 3 other sisters, so I had to share that title, Daddy's little girl, with other girls. But I think that I'm still, you know, my father's daughter, which is, you know, he feels very protective of me, and certain elements of our relationship will never change. You know, he's the boss when I'm in his house.
And when you're not in his house?
I'm the boss.
Does he accept that?
Yes.
In Truth or Dare, when Dad was going to come to the show, he warned him about, hey, there's parts of the show you may be uncomfortable with.
Right.
A couple of wrap-up questions. You're a very young lady. What do you see yourself doing, let's say, 15 years from now?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on. Everybody has some idea. Maybe being retired, being a...
Retired?
Yeah.
No way.
No way?
Retired doing what? Like gardening or something?
What do you feel like doing?
I have no idea.
Sex too? I don't know.
No, I don't know what I'll be doing in 15 years. I just don't.
If you could write the script, okay, for the next 10, 20 years, what's it include? If you had your druthers?
What does it include? More free time.
Everything I read about you says that if you had a spare moment, you would try to read something to look for a script, that you would try to listen to a new group, that you would try to write something, that you would try to work on something, that you are a compulsive worker and compulsively ambitious.
I am. But on the other hand, I still want more free time.
To do what?
To have fun, to hang out, to do nothing, to read, to play dictionary with my friends, to, I don't know, be silly.
Do you think that your fans will allow you to age with their blessing?
It's not my concern what my fans think of my aging. That's not important.
What is?
Being true to myself as an artist and being happy in life. That's important.
You happy now?
Yeah.
Madonna in January 1993. That September, she hit the road, and NBC's Jill Rappaport filed this report on what Madonna called the girly show.
Her 10-country tour got off to a sizzling start as over 70,000 fans packed London's Wembley Stadium in what is said to be Madonna's most provocative show. She vowed to shock the unshockable in her world tour called The Girly Show, and that's just what she did, with some London critics calling it a sex circus. Manhattan was the backdrop for the PJ extravaganza over the weekend, and the host exposing the most was, of course, Madonna, who used the gig to kick off her new single and video called What Else? Bedtime Stories.
Why aren't you wearing your pajamas? What are you looking at?
There were fans.
She's just the best. There is no other. Come on, love.
There was dancing. Then she launched her video.
Let's get unconscious, honey.
All this part of Madonna's latest publicity stunt for her newest single, Bedtime Story. Just another crazy night filled with Madonna and her fans.
Let's get unconscious.
Madonna has made a career cultivating fame, but she could not avoid one of the more disturbing byproducts of modern celebrity, the very real threat posed by a stalker.
For all the hype surrounding her appearance in a Los Angeles courtroom, pop singer Madonna, like so many other crime victims, appeared nervous, ill at ease, as she was forced to take the witness stand Wednesday, only a few feet from a man accused of stalking her. Threatened with arrest if she did not testify, Madonna told jurors she felt sick to her stomach, saying, "I feel incredibly disturbed that the man who threatened my life is sitting across from me and has somehow made his fantasies come true. I'm sitting in front of him, and that's what he wants." Last May, 38-year-old Robert Hoskins was shot by one of Madonna's bodyguards. Prosecutors say Hoskins scaled Madonna's mansion wall after earlier threatening to slice her throat from ear to ear and writing a note to the pop singer saying, "I love you, you will be my wife for keeps." Hoskins stared at Madonna as she told jurors she'd since been haunted by nightmares and has put her Los Angeles home up for sale. He faces up to 10 years in prison if convicted of stalking, making terrorist threats, and assault. David Bloom, NBC News, Los Angeles.
That was January 1996. Robert Hoskins was convicted for stalking and threatening Madonna, and that March was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Madonna was back in the news soon after. This time, it was much happier news.
The pop diva Madonna is back in the headlines. Her very vocal camp announced yesterday that the self-styled Queen of Erotica is pregnant. The father, they say, is Madonna's personal trainer, 29-year-old Carlos Leon, with whom she's been involved for over a year. At a press conference last summer, she was asked if Leon would father her child.
What?
Madonna Jr., can we be expecting that soon from you and your sweetheart?
Yes, but first I have to make a movie.
That movie is Evita, which Madonna has been filming for the past 10 weeks. Last week, I visited her on the set of Evita in Budapest, where we talked about the movie, her career, and the possibility of motherhood. You've talked of wanting to have children.
Mm-hmm.
A priority? Now?
Yes.
A timetable?
A what?
Is there a timetable?
Well, I think I better do it before I'm 45.
Fair. Feel any compulsion to be married to the person who's the father?
That depends on how I feel about the person at the time.
In other words, that's not an essential part of the equation.
What, marriage? No, not necessarily. I've been married before. It's not what it's cracked up to be. I think you can live with someone and be in love with someone and raise children and not be married and be perfectly fine.
That was April 1996. 6 months later came news of Madonna and child.
The material girl is the maternal girl this morning. On Monday afternoon, Madonna became a mama, going from here to maternity. Both she and her baby girl are doing well. NBC's Dan Lothian reports.
It's a case of life imitating lyrics, but who would have thought it then? Madonna topped the charts singing about keeping her baby. Now she has one.
Did she indeed give birth to a baby girl?
I don't think I'm really yes, she did. She did.
A reluctant confirmation by none other than Madonna's pediatrician, better known as the father of Hollywood madam Heidi Fleiss. So, after years of an uninhibited, in-your-face, shock-at-any-cost career, Madonna is now taking on another one-word name, Mom. Weighing in at 6 pounds, 9 ounces, Lourdes Maria Ciccone Leon was born Monday afternoon at Good Samaritan Hospital near downtown Los Angeles. This is the first child for 38-year-old Madonna and former trainer turned daddy, 30-year-old Carlos Leon. A special delivery that came with intense anticipation. Rumors of labor sent paparazzis, reporters, and their crews into a frenzy. A baby vigil quickly formed outside the hospital, all eyes focusing to catch a glimpse of mother and child. But in the end, all that came was a statement from the superstar's publicist. Mother Madonna Ciccone, Father Carlos Leon, and their daughter are all resting comfortably. We want to thank everyone for their wishes. Madonna has been pursuing motherhood publicly for years. Now she finally has it in her arms. Dan Lothian.
Madonna gave birth to her baby in October 1996. 3 months later, the movie Evita opened nationwide, starring Madonna as Eva Perón. She talked about the role with today's Matt Lauer, but topic number one was Madonna's new baby.
Her name is Lourdes Maria Ciccone Leon, and although she's only 3 months old, she's already received more media attention than most people get in a lifetime. It's because she's the daughter of Madonna, who earlier this week explained to me how motherhood has changed her life.
Well, you know, there's like the sleep deprivation factor. Honestly, it just, my day is a lot more frantic. I mean, well, forget about all that stuff. It's made me a much happier person. My daughter is truly the greatest thing I've ever done. You know what I mean? It's, everything else I've done pales in comparison. So, that said, I haven't got one free minute. So, and I'm late for everything and whatever. I mean, my life has really gotten pretty hectic.
How much of a role do you want Carlos and do you expect him to have in raising Lourdes?
I think he's going to have a very important role in her life.
Is it important to you that it's equal?
Absolutely. Yes.
I get out here when it's hottest. Stand back, you ought to know what you're gonna get in me. Just a little touch of star quality.
People love to make the comparison. They say, Madonna and Eva Perón are alike in this way. And to be honest, I think a lot of it's overblown.
Alike in what way?
They say, you know, she's tough, she's powerful, she's a strong woman, strong-minded, that sort of thing, which is great. Maybe there are comparisons. But the one that did strike me is that you and she both elicit very strong reactions in people. Not necessarily always good.
Well, for that reason. Because of all those qualities. Tough, strong, independent, ambitious, successful, whatever.
So that being the case, could you identify with the part of her personality or person that had to constantly deal with detractors?
Yeah, absolutely. Against all odds, she achieved something quite amazing. And that, you know, in spite of people, you know, all the naysayers and people, you know, denigrating her name and you know, launching these campaigns to destroy her, she just kept going and just kept going and just kept going. I mean, that's pretty, I mean, obviously I can relate to that to a certain extent.
Now I am a worker, I've suffered the way that you do. I've been unemployed and I've starved and I've hated it too. But I found my salvation in Perón. May the nation let him save them as he saved me.
I saw a piece of tape on you the other day that was very old, and it was you and Dick Clark. And he asked you at the end of American Bandstand, what do you want to do? And you said, I want to rule the world. Do you ever, in
I was very, very young when I said that.
Do you ever in 1997 wish you could give back some of the celebrity for a lot of the privacy?
Yes, absolutely.
Think you could ever do it?
Give it back?
Yeah. Could you just go off and hide someplace?
I don't know. I mean, to a certain extent, yes, but I think the deed's been done already.
The die is cast.
Yes, exactly.
That was January 1997. Madonna was not about to go off and hide then, and she's not going to now either, like it or not. Madonna is a working mother with an album to promote, a tour to give, a career to manage. And this summer, a birthday to celebrate. On August 16th, the Material Girl turns 40. That's time and again for now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jane Pauley, and we're History.